ऋषिकेश राधा ऋषिकेश श्री राधे जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय राधा काला चंजी राधा काला चंजी राधा काला चंजी श्री राधे जय राधा कृष्णा राधा कृष्णा राधा कृष्णा श्री राधे जय राधे 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 भगवान की जय भगवान की बोलो बलधारा बोलो दुर्गा जय बोलो वृषभान जय पंचातत्व जय पंचातत्व जय शेर गोस्वामी गोस्वामी जय शेर गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु परंपरा जय गुरु जय जय प्रभु जय गौरव हरि 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 की जय जय ओम विष्णु पाद से सिद्धांत विष्णु गोपाल की जय इसका डिप्टी फंडर श्री गोपाल की जय नामाचार्य श्री ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से हो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य गौरव भक्त की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपकुमार शांति की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नादिक मायापुर धाम की जय जगन्नाथ परीक्षित धाम की जय मधुरा द्वारका धाम की जय गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौर भक्तों की जय भागवतम की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय श्री चैतन्य चैतामृतम की जय इस्कॉन ट्रांसलेटर बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय इस्कॉन बुक फॉर लाइफ प्रोग्राम की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय पिता गौर हरि प्रेम हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण और और श्री गुरु श्री गौरांग
They already seen the
no nobody come
Yeah, we have. What's his name?
yeah mate Hare Krishna Vanilla mate just now thank you very much for joining 5-10 minutes we'll start okay here morning prayers are going
Okay.
Jaya Narasimha Shri Narasimha Jaya Jaya Narasimha Deva Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Branga Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Branga Jaya Narasimha Shri Narasimha Jaya Jaya Narasimha वीर महाविष्णु ज्वलंतं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम् उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युर्मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम्
Namaste Narasaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Dala Dala Dala. Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha. Lakhantanakala. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Yato 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 Bahena Singharu Jayena Singha Narasingha Sharanam Vasante Avakara Kamala Variyata Adhuta Shamba Bhavita Hiranya Kasyapu Anubhavam Ishavadita Narahari Rupa Jagagadisha Hare Jagagadisha Hare Jagagadisha Hare Jaya Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimha Dev Jaya Narahari 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 Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Kala Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Kala Narasimha Jaya Bhakta Kala Jaya Kala Bhakta Kala Jaya Kala Jaya Gauranga 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 Jaya Gauranga Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Srila Guru Deva Nitya Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. समस्त भक्त विघ्न कृष्ण से भगवान की जय भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय हिताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे
You have to join us, you can go to.
okay to another I will wait for also there also then I will go
Okay.
stay more devotees to join we can continue और नहीं है क्या है Shivrandaye Tulsi Devyaye Priyaye Ke Savasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Kriti Devi Satyavate Shivrandaye Tulsi Devyaye Priyaye Ke Savasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Kriti Devi Satyavate Shivrandaye Tulsi Devyaye Priyaye Ke Savasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Kriti Devi Satyavate Shivrandaye Tulsi Jai Krishna Bhakti Pradaya Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Namo Namah Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Raja Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Vilashi Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Eya Vilashi Namo तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नाम ये तुम्हार शरणलो तारा वच पूर्ण हो कृपा कोरि कोरो तारे वृंदावनवासी कृपा कोरि कोरो तारे वृंदावनवासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नाम मोरा ये अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियोवा नयने हरिबो सदा जुगल परासी नयने हरिबो सदा जुगल परासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः हे जाना धरो सखीरनु गाता करो सेवाधिकारा करो निजदासी सेवाधिकारा करो निजदासी नमो तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः बिना कृष्ण दासे कोई ए जना मोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा आसी आमी श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा आसी नाम तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो आप कीजिए ज्ञानी कनी चापापनी ब्रह्मा हत्याधिकारी चा तानि तानि प्राणाशन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे यानि कानि चापापनि ब्रह्मा हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्राणाशन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे तानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मा हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्राणाशन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे तानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्मा हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्राणाशन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय वंदे देवी जय वंदे देवी वंदे देवी जय वंदे देवी Shirundaya Tulsi Devi Aye Priyaye Ke Samastcha Krishna Bhakti Madhurye Satyavate Shirundaya Tulsi Devi Aye Priyaye Ke Samastcha Krishna Bhakti Madhurye Satyavate Shirundaya Tulsi Devi Aye Priyaye Ke Samastcha Krishna Bhakti Madhurye Satyavate Shirundaya Tulsi Maharani Ki Krishna Bhakti Madhurye Tulsi Maharani Ki Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Can we wait another 5 minutes? Please, Mataji,
Okay.
can we wait? Because I am going to send few more messages, then and some other devotees can join. So let me send. Govindam Adipurusha Mahabhajami Govindam Adipurusha Mahabhajami Venu Kwaranta Maravinda Dalayataksam Dhavatam Samastitam Udasundarangam Kandarbhakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusha Tamaha Bhajami Govindam Adipurusha Tamaha Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakale Driyavrittimante Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jvala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusha Govindam Adipurusha Mahabhajami Govindam Adipurusha Mahabhajami. Brahma Sarisam prayer ki jai. Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Govindan ki jai. Lord Brahma ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Shri Guru Vandanam ki. Shri Guru Vandanam ki jai. Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padam Kevalam Bhakati Tatma Pandamoy Savadana Mate Pandamoy Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai He Bhava Raja Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoyte Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoyte Guru Mukha Padmavakya Vite Pekha Aikya Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati He Kama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati ऐसे मुकामगति ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्वा आशा ये प्रसाद पूरे सर्वा आशा चक्कुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्कुदान दिलो जय जिनमे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते आवेद्य विनाशा जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेदे गाय जहर चरितो वेदे गाय जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमचे नर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमचे नर बंधु लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पातिता पावाना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पातिता पावाना आहा प्रभु पुरोदय देह मोरे पादचय आहा प्रभु पुरोदय देह मोरे पादचय हे बेजाज गुश त्रिभुवाना हे बेजाज गुश त्रिभुवाना श्रीला गुरुदेव लोहिल चराना श्रीला गुरुदेव लोहिल चराना जया प्रभुपदा 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 श्रीला प्रभुपदा जया गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा श्रीला गुरुदेवा उत्तर गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल उत्तर गौर हरि बोल उत्तर गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल उत्तर गौर हरि बोल नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे रामा हरे रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Srila Guru Deva, Vitta Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Vitta Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. श्री गुरु वंदनम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of suffering. Give the prema of. Let me read. Let us read actually. Let us understand why we are doing Guru prayer, Guru Vandanam. Let me start again. Sometimes, forgetfulness, devotees. Yeah, I know this translation, but somehow mind tricking. Okay. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of suffering. We can cross the ocean of suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and Lord and master of the devotees. O Lokanatha Goswami, O master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Guru Vandanam ki jai. Take a nice morning darshan of here, Shri Gaur Nitai Kutir, and then we'll start. Okay, I'm just taking very closer. Nicely perform worship, all the prayers. Samsara Dava, Narsinga prayer, Tulasi prayer, Guru Govindam Adipurusham prayers, Brahmasantam prayers, and Guru Vandanam. Thank you all for waiting, and let us begin. Okay, take blessings of these from these deities. Gaurnitai ki jai, Radha Gopal ki jai, Radha Kunja Bihar Bhavan ki jai, Vrindavan Chandra Radha Malasya, Jana Baldev ki jai, Krishna Balaram ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Shat Goswami ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Here they are nicely serving. Mata is doing so wonderful service. Her name is Apara Sachimata. You can also take
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
For morning prayers, okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, yes. You can put. Yeah, thank you. Just a minute. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giri kripatamam vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastam gatopi va yasmaret pundarikaksham sabhyabhyantaram suchihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Thank you again, all the wonderful devotees, Sri Mataji, Sambhikta Mataji, Vandala Mataji, Sapan Prabhu. Thank you for your time reading Srila Prabhupada books. So now we are at 85th page. Let me share this one. 73rd page, yeah. 73rd page and 85th in this. 73rd page. Okay, so let me share. Which book we are reading? Hare Krishna, devotees. Quickly.
Elevation to Krishna consciousness.
Elevation to Krishna consciousness. Elevation to Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully put the title, elevation. Elevation to Krishna consciousness. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the books are so nicely creative. One of the devotee qualities is always creative. Yeah. So this is going to help us. These last lines we read on Wednesday. Without looking to Krishna's lotus feet, all religious, social or political endeavors will fail. See, what is that? Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Unless it is pleasing to Krishna, there is no use. Chatusloki Bhagavatam, one verse talks about this. If it is not connected to Krishna, there is no value and it's a waste of time. Seriously, that's what hardest truth we have to understand from scripture. If it is connected to Krishna, if it helps to surrender to Krishna, then that activities are perfect. Whatever activities divide of those, no use. It's a waste of time. So this one, let me read and we'll over to you. Okay. Without looking to Krishna's lotus feet, all religious, social or political endeavors will fail. It is not possible to make progress as long as our desires are anchored in the material world. So this statement, remember always. Sense gratification, self-realization go ill together. Can anybody repeat? Sense gratification and self-realization go ill together. Repeat, please. Devotees, Hare Krishna.
Sense gratification and self-realization go together.
దీంట్లో చాలా మీనింగ్ ఉంది యాక్చువల్గా. సెన్స్ గ్రాటిఫికేషన్ అండ్ సెల్ఫ్ రియలైజేషన్. I'll work on self-realization along with sense gratification. It won't work that way. Self-realization means we have to follow a proper austerities. The 4 regulative principles there, right? That is an austerity actually. So it's going ill together. No, you cannot progress. I'm going to do some sensual activities there, and I am working on my self-realization, like practicing bhakti yoga. Benefit hai, but the benefit to hai, there is a benefit, but still that is not a proper benefit. Again, you are working on the material desires. Yeah, it is not possible to make progress as long as our desires are anchored in the material world. In this regard, there is a story of a bridegroom's party who had to go to the bride's house down the river. It was settled that they would start at night by boat and reach the destination early in the morning. Therefore, at night, after supper, the jubilant party got aboard a boat, made themselves comfortable, and instructed the boatmen to start. So now the same story, please continue. Samyukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Since all the members of the party were seated comfortably, and since the river breeze was very pleasant, they slept soundly that night. In the morning, they all got up early, but to their astonishment, they saw that the boat had not moved an inch toward the destination, even though the boatman had rowed vigorously all night long. Finally, after inquiring, they found that despite the boatman's rowing, the boat had not moved because they had failed to raise the anchor. The marriage ceremony was thus spoiled because of a foolish mistake. Our present civilization is therefore a mistaken civilization because the mistaken leaders have forgotten to raise their anchor of attachment. Instead, the anchor is being more and more firmly fixed because they have structured the social order on the basis of sense gratification. This sense gratifying social and political setup, maintained by various plans and schemes, has been described in Bhagavad Gita as follows. Kamam ashritya dushpuram damba mana madhanvitaha mohat gruhatvasad grahan pravartante suchivrataha chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashritaha kamopabhoga parama etavad iti nishchitaha. The demonic taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige, and being thus illusion, are always shown to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Their belief is that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, there is no measurement for their anxiety. Bhagavad Gita 16.10 to 11.
Let us wait for some time. Let us
Yes, sir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading. So, same. The concept is again, just now we repeated, right? Sense gratification and self-realization go together. So they take the shelter in where they take shelter. Sense gratification means insatiable lust. That means it never satisfied, right? Unless we control, unless we put effort, it cannot be satisfied. Insatiable. It's a kind of fire in our heart. Always something going on in that. Lust in the form of material desires. Okay, lust not only definition of man-woman relationship or opposite sex relationship. No, that includes material desires also, and it's insatiable, right? Material desires never satisfied. Always we have to hankering mode, hankering, wanting mode. Then lust, pride, false prestige. That's called sense gratification. And being thus the illusion are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Their belief is that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is a prime necessity of human civilization. This is called sense gratification. Thus, there is no measurement. For their anxiety. They are always in the anxiety. See, why we are in anxiety? Because of these are the qualities, the demoniac qualities of in our mind. We have always become pride, false prestige, and lustly desires. Best definition from Krishna's words, Bhagavad Gita 16 chapter 10 to 11 verse. Definition of sense gratification. The leaders, let us continue. Vanilla Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna. The leaders, like the boatmen, are all illusioned. They mislead us into taking some temporary benefit, but how long can their plans and schemes go on? If they persist until they die of heart failure or are killed by assassins, then just like them, it takes their place. Even the so-called philosophers of modern society are captivated by material name and fame, and so they do not lead the general populace to the in the proper direction. Thus, the anchor of life remains deeply fixed in the waters of nescience for the purpose of sense gratification, and thus our so-called civilization rots in stagnant pool.
Because we are not moving, we are always in the same port of problematic life. All schemes are only useless scraps of paper in the face of in the face of war, famine, earthquakes, and other disasters. All the disasters and are warnings from from Mother Durga, and by them she confirms the eternal superiority over the illusioned plan makers. The different weights on the anchors which keep us grounded in the material life are our attachments to the material body due to the ignorance of spiritual facts, our attachment to a kinsman due to our bodily relations, our attachments to our land of birth and our material possessions, our attachment to material science, and our attachment to religious forms and rituals without knowing their true purpose. All these anchor the boat of human body within the material universe. Sri Krishna using the example of strongly rooted banyan tree, advises us in Bhagavad Gita how to get rid of this attachment once and for all.
Bhagavad Gita Mata, 15 chapter 3. You can do it.
Na rupam asyesha tatopalabhyate nanto na chader na cha sampratishta ashwadhamenam suviruddhamulam asanga sastrena dridena chitva tata padam tat parimargativyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prastra purani. The real form of this tree cannot be pursued in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. This banyan tree must be cut out with determination by the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that situation from which, having gone, one never comes back. One must surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom everything has begun and is extending since time immemorial. Bhagavad Gita 15.3-4. Correction.
Beautiful verses, actually. Yes. How to, what is saying? Get rid of this attachment. Krishna advises us in Bhagavad Gita. Sound is this one. Yeah. Krishna is advising in Bhagavad Gita how to get rid of this attachment. How to get rid of basically sense gratification. How to get rid of. He is giving solution. Many solutions, right? How to control our mind. How to perform always bhakti. How always these souls are, great perpetual souls. Always engage in the service of me. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna advises us in Bhagavad Gita how to get rid of this attachment. The sense gratification means attaching, right? Material desire means something attachment. So we wanted to have that. So that's how can we get rid of this? It's a weapon of detachment with determination. We have to have determined. We have to have detached. So this is the statement we frequently quote in our preaching. Attached to Krishna, detached to
Maya Prabhuji.
Ante, Maya. Yes. Attached to Krishna, detached to Maya. Detachment to sense gratification. Maya means, Maya forces us to think materialistic way. Forces us actually. Because Maya, how can this Maya made? Illusory energy. This material nature is illusory energy of Supreme Lord. Right? It is coming, it is stay for some time, it's gone. Again, it's coming, coming, going like that. So, in this material world, in this material illusion, basically the sense gratification. That's where, the problem, what we desire and what we get. See, how we get these bodies? Because of we desire something. That's why we got these bodies. So, wonderful verses by Krishna. Na rupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto chachadirna cha sampratishta ashvaddhamenam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena dhrudena chitva tata padam tati parimargatavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravrutti prastra purani. With determination by the weapon of detachment. Oh, that is the statement from this verse. We can cut our attachments. Our attachment in the materialistic way of life. We have to attach to Krishna and Krishna conscious related activities. Right? Then that will help us. The more we attach to Krishna conscious activities, that will liberate us actually. There is no question of binding or bonding or material bondage that can liberate us. Okay, so let us continue from this. Sirisha Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah. And then Sapan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The personality of Godhead, who is fully cognizant of everything in his creation, informs us in our best interest that we must desire to get rid of this material existence. We must detach ourselves from everything material. To make the best use of a bad bargain, our material existence should be 100% spiritualized by constant association with Krishna's message, his devotees, and his names. Therefore, everyone who ordinarily engages in material affairs can derive the highest benefit from this Krishna consciousness movement. All kinds of spiritual endeavors are more or less tinged with material contamination. However, pure devotional service is transcendental to all pollution. We need not artificially adopt principles of materialism. We need only fix our minds on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
That's it. This chapter also done, Prabhu. Thank you for reading.
Right.
Beautifully says, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All kinds of spiritual endeavors are more or less tinged with material contamination. However, what he's saying, all kinds of spiritual endeavors, right? Different austerities, different tapas they do, right? Some material motivation there in that. No, if I do this, if I do anadana, I will get some punya karma. You definitely get you punya karma because it's a spiritual, it's connected with Supreme, it's connected with some demigods, like you get some punya karma. But Prabhupada writes, however, pure devotional service is transcendental to all pollution. That's where Bhakti Yoga situated. Which mode? Prabhuji and Mataji. Bhakti Yoga situated on which mode? Which mode? There are three modes, right? Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Satvaguna. Then
Satvaguna.
Shuddha Satvaguna. Bhakti Yoga situated on beyond the three modes. Beyond the three modes, there is another mode called Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. So when we perform, that is the key. If we are always in that Shuddha Sattva Guna, this material pollution gone away. There is no question of thinking about, all the materialistic way of life. However, pure devotional service is transcendental to all pollution. See, pollution is within the three modes. Prabhupada's words, pollution means not like, material pollution. Our mind, there are so much pollution is there. Different materialistic thoughts, different way of enjoyments, materialistically. How can we transcend those materialistic way of thinking and, clean this pollution? Through the chanting only, performing pure devotional service. However, pure devotional service is transcendental. Whenever we see transcendental means beyond the three modes. Transcending the three modes. See, this material world created by three modes, we all know. Triguna, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Bhakti Yoga situated transcendental happiness, transcendental platform. Bhakti Yoga. We need not artificially adopt principles of materialism. We need only fix our minds on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the personality of God, Sri Krishna. That's it. When we practice nicely Bhakti Yoga, the material pollution, the way of the materialistic sense gratification, it won't go away overnight. We have to put effort every day. That's why Prabhupada has given medicine every day, 2 hours of chanting. Why he has given this chanting method? This is approved by all the system of disciplic succession. Every day we have to dedicate some time to please Supreme Lord. As we are doing 2 rounds, sometimes we do in Ekadashi time, 2 rounds. And practicing serious practitioners, they are doing 16 rounds of japa every day and performing worship, just like we have seen. Performing worship, reading, hearing. Now we are doing reading activity. So these are all going to clean the pollution of our mind. So nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada. Pure devotional service is transcendental. And we learn that verse. Savai mana Krishna padara bindayo. Ambarish Maharaj says that how can we utilize our body in the Krishna service? That is the answer. How can we utilize our body in Krishna's service? That is the answer given by Ambarish Maharaj. Savai mana Krishna padara bindayo. Vacham sejirnani gunanu varnana. It's a beautiful verse. We'll learn. So let us go through this chapter. 6th chapter. This is the last chapter of this book. Elevation to Krishna consciousness. Taking to Krishna consciousness. How a person will be able to take up the process of chanting and this Krishna consciousness. So let us read again. So anybody joined? Okay. Sirisha Mata, are you there? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read?
Read, Prabhuji. Please read.
Okay, I'll read out that.
Chapter. Then later Mata you will read.
Yeah, I'll
He's
read
not.
first. He is having different.
Yeah. Once Raju Prabhu read, you can. Yeah. This is the chapter. Last
6,
chapter.
taking to Krishna consciousness. In India, all scriptures and great spiritual teachers, including Shankaracharya, an impersonalist, accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. In the beginning of his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Shankaracharya says that Narayana is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested creation. And in the same commentary, he says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is Krishna appearing as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Thus, in this respect, there is little difference of opinion about Krishna. Those who are authorities, be they personalists or impersonalists, are in agreement that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. When Krishna was present on this planet, he proved by his activities and opulence that he is the Supreme Lord. If we are actually anxious to understand who and what the Supreme Lord is, all of the information is given in Vedic literatures. If we utilize whatever we have in our position to understand God, Krishna will prove that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we but accept this one fact, then all of our education is complete. It is fashionable to research to try to find out who is God, but this is not necessary. God is present and he himself says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam prohtam sutre manigana iva. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are struck on a thread. Bhagavad Gita 7.7. This information is not only given in Bhagavad Gita, but in other scriptures as well. And it has been accepted from the very beginning by great acharyas, teachers like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Lord Chaitanya, and many other stalwart authorities. Even at the present moment, those who do not accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord are accepting the knowledge given by Krishna to Arjuna. So, in this way, there is accepting Krishna indirectly. If one accepts Bhagavad Gita as a great book of knowledge, he is also accepting Krishna. There is no doubt that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna and that we have our eternal relationship with him. Can I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, continue, Mother. Just a second. Yeah. Continue. Paragraph.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Our eternal relationship with God is Sabhajana. God is great and we are subordinate. He is the predominator and we are the predominated. The duty of subordinate is to please the predominator. Similarly, if you want to be happy, we must learn how to make Krishna happy. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. But how it is to be understood that Supreme Lord is satisfied by our service and labor. It is actually possible to perfect our service or occupational duty. Everyone has some service to perform according to his designation. He may be an Indian or American, Hindu, Muslim or Christian, man or woman, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra or whatever. In case he is meant to be do some sort of work, and that is the occupational duty. Can I continue, Prabhuji?
Continue, please.
Yeah, perfection of duty can be tested by the seeing whether the Supreme Lord is satisfied by its execution. The Supreme Lord's satisfaction can be tested by the Lord's representative, the spiritual master. There is therefore it is important to seek out real representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and work under him. If he is satisfied, then you would know the Supreme Lord is also satisfied. That is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. Yasya prasado bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nagati kutopi dayanchu vamsasya yasya sandhyam vande guru shri charanarvindam.
Beautiful. Haribol. Read the meaning, Prabhu.
Yeah, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, no one can make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectable obeisance to the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Sri Guru Vastakam, verse 8. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sri Srimati Raj Prabhu. Thank you. So, our relationship with God is Sabhajana. What is the meaning of Sabhajana? Sabhajana. God is great and we are subordinate. We never ever become master. We are always be servant in Krishna's hands and Krishna's relation. Right? Jivere Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. We have to accept just like, all the various acharyas, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimbarkar Swami, Vishnu Swami, all these great authorities. These are all great authorities and representing Guru disciple succession, Guru disciplic succession, right? Shankaracharya also confirmed last. So that is song there, right? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudhamate. Right? Sampraptre Sannihite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrum Karane. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudhamate. Bhaja 3 times bola, right? He said 3 times. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Just like Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam. He also, at the end of his life, his pastimes, he has concluded that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are many verses Krishna himself establishing in the Bhagavatam also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya starts with. So we would understand to whom we have to perform worship. And we got the point. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is the original personality of God. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. And we have to establish our relationship with Krishna. There is no specifically we have to do any, just we have to hear and remember. Nitya Siddha, there is one beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nitya Siddha Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna, Prema Satya Kabhunae, Shravanadi Sunicheva, Karaye Udaye. Shravanadi Sunicheva. By chanting and hearing. Okay? Through chanting and hearing, we will establish our dormant relationship that is already there. It is now hidden. We will establish through hearing and chanting our relationship with Krishna. Sabhajana, that means we are subordinate to Krishna. We are servants to Krishna. Right? Similarly, if we want to be happy, we must learn how to make Krishna happy. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. right? We have to give pleasure to Krishna. How can we give pleasure to Krishna? By chanting his names. That pleases to him, right? When we are engaging in service means that pleases to Krishna. Chanting is addressing. We are engaging in Krishna's service. Everyone has some service to perform according to his designations. He may be Indian, American, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, man, woman, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, whatever. In any case, he is meant to do some sort of work, and that work is occupational duty. Perfection of duty can be tested by seeing whether the Supreme Lord is satisfied by its execution. The Supreme Lord's satisfaction can be tested by the Lord's representative. The Supreme Lord's satisfaction can be tested by the Lord's representative. That means spiritual master. The spiritual master is representation, a representative. We see many times, right, in the daily life, a medical representative, pharmaceutical distributor representative. They are representing their product, right? They are representing and they are selling. Spiritual master also selling the holy name, selling the, this Hare Nama. Harinam Hatta, actually Bengali word. Harinam Hatta. What is that Harinam Hatta? Shopping center of Harinam. Right? What is the meaning of Harinam Hatta, Mataji? Harinam Hatta in English? Hatta means? In Bengali word, kya hai? Harinam Hatta, Mataji. Harinam is opening the centers, Harinam distributing holy names. It's just shop. We are selling holy names. We are, yeah, that's the thing. Harinam Hatta. So spiritual master establishes all these, centers. Our beloved founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, he established in his life 108 temples all over the world and preaching the glories of Supreme Lord. He is representing the eternal teachings of Krishna. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, great Vaishnava Acharya in our Brahmamudra Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, this one, right? Yasya prasade bhagavad prasado yasya prasada nagati kutupi dhyayanstu vamsa jashasti sandhyam vande guru shri charanaravindam. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. We should always remember the spiritual master. Without the grace of the spiritual master, no one can make any advancement. By the mercy of spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. If we please a devotee of Krishna, Krishna is much pleased. Automatically pleased. Krishna automatically pleased, actually. Of course, see, that's where, our ISKCON temples, especially center around, Guru Tattva. Center around Guru Tattva. Guru Tattva, Guru's representation. Guru is representing Krishna. So that's the thing. Two Guru prayers in our morning program, right? Guru Ashtakam and Guru Vandana. Importance of Guru. And from him, we have to understand the spiritual knowledge. That Guru in disciplic succession. Yes. So let us continue again. Samyukta Mataji, please again read this part from here. The spiritual master.
Yes, Prabhuji. The spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord. How does he become the representative? If one says that such and such an object is a pair of spectacles, and if he teaches his discipline in that way, there is no mistake as to the identity of the object. The spiritual master is he who has captured the words of a particular disciplic succession. In the case given, the key word is spectacles. That's all. The spiritual master does not have to say anything beyond that. This is the qualification. Krishna says, I am the supreme. And the spiritual master says, Krishna is the supreme. It is not that to be representative of Krishna or to be a spiritual master, one has to have any extraordinary qualification. He simply has to carry the message from the authority as it is, without any personal interpretation. As soon as there is some personal interpretation, the message is lost and the instructions become offensive. A person who interprets the scriptures according to his own whims should be immediately rejected. Once Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you must at least have enough sense to test to find out who is a spiritual master and who is not. For instance, if we want to purchase something, we must at least have some idea of what that thing is. Otherwise, we will be cheated. If we want to purchase a mango from the market, we must at least know what type of a food a mango is and what it looks like. Similarly, we must have some preliminary knowledge of the qualifications for a bona fide spiritual master. Bhagavad Gita itself gives some information about the succession of spiritual masters. Lord Krishna says, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ishva Kave Bravit Evam Para Praptam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nasta Parantapa Saevayam Mayatedya Yoga Prokta Puratanaha Bhaktosi me Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Hitat Uttamam. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ishvaku. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend. Therefore, you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Bhagavad Gita 4.123. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is where the knowledge has to be received through Guru disciplic succession. Parampara. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. And this knowledge is given to sun god millions of years ago. Sun god name Vivasvate. Vivasvan. Vivasvan is a sun god. Very millions of years ago, Krishna has given this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Due to time's influence, due to time's effective, that's where it's broken. And Krishna re-establishes Arjuna as putting as an instrument and then giving this knowledge through him to the world. So this word. So again, it connects to spiritual master, how much, very much importance. What he said, Krishna says, I am the supreme, and the spiritual master also, what he's saying? He cannot claim that I am God, no, right? Spiritual master always treat himself as a servant of God, servant of Krishna. He also is giving the same teachings. Krishna says, I am the supreme, and the spiritual master says, Krishna is the supreme. It is not that to be a representative of Krishna or to be spiritual master, one has to have extraordinary qualification. He simply has to carry the message from the authority. What is the authority? From Krishna only, authority in the parampara. Krishna is given this knowledge. Right? The spiritual master is he who has captured the words of a particular disciplic succession. In the case given, the keyword is spectacles. That's all. What is saying? What is spectacles? If one says that such and such an object is pair of spectacles, and if he teaches his disciple in that way, there is no mistake as to the identity of the object. That means we have to see things as is through the disciplic succession. Right? Yeah. So let us continue from this. Venala Matai, please continue. Hare Krishna Mataji, I think you are speaking on mute.
That original spiritual disciplic succession was broken, but now we can receive the same message by studying Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks to Arjuna just as in a far distant time he spoke to the sun god. If we accept the words of Arjuna and Krishna, it may be possible for us to understand Bhagavad Gita. But if we want to interpret it in our own way, the result will be nonsensical. The best way to understand Bhagavad Gita is to accept a bona fide spiritual master. This is not very difficult. Arjuna says that he accepts all that Krishna has said to him because Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Nasta moha smritir labda svat prasadam mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishya vachanam tava. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy, and now I am fixed without any doubt, prepared to act according to your instruction." Bhagavad Gita 18.73. As Arjuna's, as Arjuna, we should keep Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and do as he says. Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat tat yat tapasvasi kantaya tat kurusva matvatpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer, and all that you give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering to me. Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Hare Krishna.
Then continue, Mata. You can read.
By accepting Krishna in this spirit, we can attain complete knowledge. If, however, we do not accept Krishna and interpret Bhagavad Gita in our own way, then everything will be spoiled. If we are sincere, we will get a spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. If, however, we want to be cheated, Krishna will send us to a cheater, and we will be cheated throughout our lives. This is actually going on. For those who do not want to understand Krishna as he is, but want to understand by dint of their own imperfect vision, Krishna, God, remains unknown. The whole process is to accept Krishna and his instructions, and therefore to render devotional service unto him. It is Srimati Radharani who is the very embodiment of perfect devotional service. In the Brahma Samhita, Radharani is described as Krishna's expansion of his spiritual potency. In this way, she is not different from Krishna. The gopis who tend Radha and Krishna are not ordinary women or girls. They are expansion of Krishna's pleasure potency. Radharani and the gopis should never be accepted as ordinary women. Indeed, to understand their position, we need the guidance of a spiritual master. If we living entities want to actually associate with Radharani, that may be possible. Although she is not an ordinary woman, we can become associates of Radharani by qualifying ourselves in advanced devotional service. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Continue. Yeah. This paragraph also you can read.
In devotional service, there is no frustration. Even if we perform only a small amount, it will grow. Devotional service is not lost. As far as material things are concerned, whatever we gain in the world will be lost when the body is finished. But since we are eternal spiritual sparks, our spiritual assets go with us, gradually fructifying. In this way, those who have previously cultivated transcendental consciousness come in contact with Krishna consciousness through this movement. Interest in Krishna consciousness is not commonplace. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that out of many millions and billions of persons, only one is interested in achieving perfection. If we advertise that simply by reading this book and meditating for 15 minutes, anyone can immediately get power, become successful in business, and pass his examination, many people would be attracted to the book. People are not attracted to Krishna consciousness because they prefer to be cheated by Maya. They think that the perfection of life is eating a great supply of food, or sleeping 24 hours, or having a new mate every night or every day. People are interested in these things, but not the perfection of life. Correct.
Very good. Prabhupada ki jai. Nicely saying these points. Multiple things he touched. Srila Prabhupada, it starts with this verse. Yes. So through the disciplic succession, and we have to understand this knowledge. And rahasyam etad uttamam. That confidential knowledge will be revealed through disciplic succession, because they represent Krishna's teaching as is. Okay, that's why. Rahasyam etad uttamam. Therefore, you can understand this transcendental mystery of this science. Because you are my devotee and friend. That mood we have to develop. Bhaktosmi sakacheti rahasyam etad uttamam. Bhaktosmi sakacheti. He is a devotee as well as sakha means friend. So if we understand, if we put ourselves in that same mood, we get that Bhagavad knowledge. And this disciplic succession was broken, but now we can receive the same message by studying Bhagavad Gita. Yes. If we want to interpret it on our own way, the results will be nonsensical, foolish. We cannot understand Krishna. That's why we need a bona fide spiritual master. Prabhupada writes this statement, bona fide spiritual master. So what he's saying, Arjuna says that he accepts all the Krishna has said to him because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, this is Arjuna is saying, what he's saying, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. And now I am fixed without any doubt, preparing to act according to your instruction. This is the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 73rd verse. Nasto moha smrutir labdha tvat prasadan maya achyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishe vachanam tava. Now I am going to act on behalf of you. Right? So he's before that, he was bewildered, bodily attachment. Like, if I kill them, I may incur sin. I may go to hellish conditions of life. Attachment to, grandfathers, brothers, etc. Right? And he accepted Krishna's instructions and is now acting and performing Kshatriya duties and fighting in the war. As Arjuna, we should accept Krishna as the Supreme. He accepted. Karishya Vachanam Tama. Arjuna accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because all this knowledge ultimately he has to fight. He is morose. He was unable to fight. His Gandiva is shrinking and his hands are shrinking. He is unable to focus. His mind is wandering in nature. So much disturbance. Just like our position also, in the material world, our position also just like Arjuna. We are not in a proper consciousness. No, at least somewhat we are progressing through the Bhakti Yoga. Right? So now just Arjuna is fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna and performing these Kshatriya duties. Similarly, we also have to do. As Arjuna, we should accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like Arjuna. Yat karosi yadasnasi, this is directly from Krishna. Yat karosi yadasnasi, yajjuhosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushma madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you perform, all the austerities, do as an offering to me. Everything Krishna is karnega. We have to do Krishna is. By accepting Krishna in this spirit, we can attain complete knowledge. If, however, we do not accept Krishna, interpret Bhagavad Gita in our own way, then we lost. Our life will be spoiled. This is good statement. See, if we are sincere, we will get a sincere spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. If, however, we want to be cheated, Krishna will send us a cheater. And we will be cheated throughout our lives. That is actually going on. No, if we want to be cheated, Krishna is going to send the cheater spiritual masters, cheaters. If we are sincere, Krishna is going to send nice devotee in our life. Through them, and we start practicing Bhakti Yoga. The whole process is to, what is the purpose of this Krishna consciousness? The whole process is to accept Krishna and his instructions and therefore to render service to him. Right? It is Srimad Radharani, the pleasure potency of Krishna, very embodiment of perfect devotional service. Brahma Samhita Radharani is described as Krishna's expansion of his spiritual potency, Ladini Shakti. In this way, she is not different from Krishna. The gopis who tend Radha and Krishna are not ordinary women or girls. These are all, they are expansions of Krishna's pleasure potency. They are giving pleasure to Krishna's eternally. Radharani and the gopis should never be accepted as ordinary women. The gopis should never be accepted as ordinary women. Indeed, to understand their position, we need the guidance of spiritual master. So these are highest revelations in spiritual life. Highest revelations, Madhurya Leela. Gopas, gopis, Krishna, Radharani. That's where topmost planet is Goloka Vrindavana. That's it. That is the ultimate planet of spiritual world. Ultimate planet. And that is the highest mood of devotional love. If we living entities want to actually associate with Radharani, that may be possible. Although she is not an under woman, we can become associates of Radharani by qualifying ourselves in advance in devotional life, devotional service. Prabhupada is encouraging, see, in devotional service, there is no frustration. Even if we perform only a small amount, it will grow. Devotional service is never lost. What is ours? Can anybody Repeat. Can anybody recite? Whatever we do in devotional life, devotional service, never last. It is going to fill in the eternal bank balance. What is that verse?
Neha Vikramanasas.
Neha Vikramanashosi Pratyavana. Swalpam apya. Swalpam. Swalpam means little endeavor, little service. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. It can save from the greatest danger. That greatest danger in the form of death we see in this material world. That's where every minute, every time, whatever time we are here in this material world, that's why we don't need to waste time. That's one of the devotees' quality. We have to always engage in Krishna service. Either way, somehow or other, we always remember Krishna. Our spiritual assets go with us, gradually fructifying. In this way, those who have previously cultivated transcendental consciousness come in contact with Krishna consciousness through this movement. Interest in Krishna consciousness is not commonplace. Bhagavad Gita, it is said, many millions and billions of persons, only one is interested in achieving perfection. There are so many millions of billions of people in this material world. In our material, in this universe, we see 7 to 8 billion people are there. How many are practicing? Very rare. If we can advertise that simply by reading this book and meditating for 15 minutes, anyone can immediately get power, become successful in business and pass his exam. Many people would be attracted to the book. People are not attracted to Krishna consciousness because they prefer to be cheated by Maya. Every day Maya is cheating us. If we see in our life, we can check that, how I am thinking. Or my thinking helps us to remember Krishna, or it is going away from Krishna. We have to think always that way. Right? So what is this? This one. They think that the perfection of life is eating, sleeping, mating, and despair. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That is what it is. In every night, every day, they want to enjoy. People are interested in these things. Sleeping 24 hours, 20 hours, 18 hours, 19 hours. That gives them. Those are all, temporary material activities that won't help us. Of course, we have to sleep, we have to eat, and we have to have that, defend, and we have to have marriage and, have that propensity, fulfill that propensity. But still, that is not the life. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending is not the life. Beyond this, there is something. Param drustvana nivartate. Param drustvana nivartate. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam, it says, Param drustvana nivartate. Krishna says actually. I'm remembering actually. These days I'm meditating that verse. Let us open that verse. Param drustvana nivartate. Vishaya vinivartante, actually, that verse. Let me share. Vishaya vinivartante. Yeah. Yes. Beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. 2nd chapter, 59 verse. Let me share quickly. Yeah. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drustvana nivartate. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. Experiencing a higher taste. How can we do that? How can we get that higher taste? How can we do that? How can we get that higher taste? By adopting the principles of devotional life. Slowly we get the taste. It's not a 1 day, 2 day. It's a lifetime of effort. It's a lifetime of effort, yes. Every intelligent man should at least experiment with Krishna consciousness. He should say, all right, I have been enjoying this eating, sleeping for many lives, not only in this life. The same life, eating, sleeping, mating in animal life. In previous life also we did it. And these things were available for me to enjoy in my bird and animal bodies. Now in this life, let me restrict the 4 principles of animalistic life. Let me restrict the 4 principles of animalistic life. Eating, sleeping, mating. That's what it is. Now let us read. Actually, we haven't read this one. Let us read this. Sapan Prabhuji, please read.
Prabhuji, can I read next?
Yes, sure. Then again, Samyukta Mataji. Or Vendala Mataji, she is going to drop off anyway. You can read Mataji again, some more paragraphs. Vendala Mataji.
Okay. Every intelligent man should at least experiment with Krishna consciousness. He should say, all right, I have been enjoying this eating and sleeping for so many lives. These things are available for me to enjoy in my bird and animal bodies. Now, in this life, let me restrict the four principles of animalistic life: eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, and let me devote my time to developing Krishna consciousness. In this way, my life will be successful. It is not that we have coined this term, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the oldest phrase in the history of world. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru maimavesyasi sasyam te pratijana priyasi me. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mamevasyasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. The result is you will come to me without faith. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Engage your mind in always, engage my mind always in thinking of me. Engage your body in my service and surrender unto me. Completely absorbed in me, surely you'll come to me. Bhagavad Gita 18.65 and 9.34. Hare Krishna.
Two times said. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 2 times, same verse. A little difference, but meaning and theme are the same. Continue, Mataji. Another 1-2 paragraph you can read, and maybe you can drop off also after 8 o'clock.
Just be always conscious of me. This then is Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is repeatedly saying that we should worship him, offer obeisances unto him, and then come to him. Bhagavad Gita clearly points to the absolute necessity of Krishna consciousness, and Bhagavad Gita is accepted as the essence of the Upanishads. Even from historical point of view, it has no comparison. It has been calculated on the basis of archaeological evidence that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra more than 5,000 years ago. So this Krishna consciousness movement, even from the historical point of view, is 5,000 years old. Its philosophy is oldest in the history of the world. If we wish to trace it further back, we find that Krishna spoke it earlier to the sun god. Krishna is eternal, and consciousness of Krishna is also eternal. In this way, Krishna consciousness should be approached. It should not be simply considered a theory. When Krishna consciousness is covered by any other consciousness, we experience our uncontaminated conditional life. When the sky is clear, we can see sun's brilliant effulgence, but when it is covered by clouds, we cannot see it. We may be able to perceive the sunlight, but we cannot see the sun disk itself. When the sky is clear, it is natural. It is in its natural condition. Similarly, our consciousness is eternally Krishna consciousness, but we are part and parcel because we are part and parcel of Krishna eternally. This is asserted in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Mamaivamso jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha manasasthani indriyani prakritistani karshati. The living entities in this conditional world are my fragmental parts and they are eternal. But due to conditional life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Should I continue?
You can continue. Yes, you can continue.
Somehow or other, we have come in contact with material nature, and because of the mind and the six senses, we are struggling hard to exist. That is Darwin's theory, the struggle of existence, survival of fittest. However, the actual fact is that our constitutional position is not one of struggle. Struggle is the position of animal life. Human life should be blissful and should have it as its goal spiritual advancement. At one time, that was India's principle of life. And there was a class of people, the Brahmanas, who engaged themselves exclusively in spiritual culture. All the Brahmanical culture is enunciated in the scriptures of India. It is not for Indians alone, but all human beings. The Vedas were written for all mankind, but it so happened that when the Vedas were written, what is now known as the Indian culture was only one extant. At that time, the whole planet was called Bharatavarsha after Emperor Bharat Maharaja, the son of Rishabhadeva. Bharat Maharaja ruled the whole planet, but gradually the planet was divided up. So the dharma of Vedic culture should not simply be considered Indian or Hindu in sectarian sense. Hare Krishna.
Sectarian sense. Sectarian sense means it's not particular to particular group or region or community. Okay, particular sect. No, this is the Sanatana Dharma, right? Sanatana. What is that Sanatana Dharma? Eternal religion, right? Before Christianity, before Muslim Islam, this knowledge is there. That's why it's see there is in front of Krishna there is no question of the different personalities. All are beings of Krishna. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. According to time, place, and circumstances, Krishna appeared in those forms also, in these different religions. See, everything it connects to Krishna. That's ultimately, we are all the living beings in this material world. Not only in this material world, other higher planetary systems, we are all eternal beings, which can be our eternal father is Krishna. Aham bija pradapita. Right? So that's when. So this is what we see this, So we have to understand our position, and we have to understand, and then we have to practice, take up the devotional life properly. And it can be very nicely executable process. Very nicely executable process. How can we say? Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartumavyayam. Susukam Kartumavyayam. Krishna consciousness process is a blissful process. Yeah. It's very blissful process. Chanting, feasting, dancing. Krishna, satsang mein kya? What is there in satsang? Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Prasadam. What is there? What we need? Our social, mental, emotional, ultimately spiritual needs fulfilled. Right? So that's the thing. So we have to take up the process. Krishna only says, this is what it is. Manmanabha vadbhakto. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. The result is that you will come to me without fail. And he is promising. And next verse, engage your mind always in thinking of me, engage your body in my service, surrender unto me, completely absorbed in me. So surely you will come to me 2 times. 9.34, 18.65. Right? So we just have to always think about Krishna, never forgets. We have to mold our life such a way that we always remember Krishna and never forgets. Wherever we see Krishna's picture. Wherever we, if we take food, we have to think about Krishna. Wherever if we drink water, rasoham apsukam. Krishna says, I am the taste of the water. You can experience Krishna in every in his creation, in his holy name. Right? We are all connected with Krishna. Mamai Vamsha Jivaloka Jivabhuta Sanatana. Eternal fragmental parts. Struggling with 6 senses. 6 senses we all know, including mind. 6 senses, right? The knowledge, how we get senses, 6 senses, which include the mind. Mind is the center of all those other 5. How we see through the eyes, how we hear through the ears, how we taste through the tongue, how we smell through the nose, and how we experience the touch through the body. Right? And including mind. Mind is redirecting. Mind, if we train our mind or tame our mind, all the seeing, all the hearing, all the tasting, all the smelling, all the touching will be changed. So that is nicely engagement in our service. Rishikena Rishikesh Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That's the thing. Vedas are written, but so it so happened that when the Vedas were written, what is known as the Indian culture, no. Was the only one extent. At that time, the whole planet was Bharatavarsha. Right now, we have seen different nations, right? Europe, Asia Pacific, Australia, different countries, different nations. But at one point, there was only one ruler, Bharatavarsha, King Bharata Maharaj, son of Rishabhadev. So Bharata Maharaj ruled the whole planet, but gradually the planet was divided. So the dharma of the Vedic culture should not simply be considered Indian or Hindu or in sectarian sense. It is the Sanatana Dharma. And that Sanatana Dharma is training us and giving the knowledge that, we are all eternal parts of Krishna and we have to perform or direct our activities center around him. So that is called Sanatana Dharma. Religious principles, religious activities. So let us continue. Sapan Prabhu, are you able to read now?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
With you, another couple of paragraphs and I will wrap up. You can read, Prabhu.
Often the word dharma is translated to mean religion, but to conceive of dharma as a religion is to misconceive the word. In general usage, the word religion refers to a particular type of faith. The word dharma does not. Dharma indicates a natural occupation of the living entity. For example, wherever there is fire, there is heat and light. So it may be said that the heat and light are the dharma of fire. Fire cannot change its dharma. In the same way, liquidity is an intrinsic quality of water, and this quality cannot be changed. If it is, it can no longer be considered water. The dharma of individual soul can never be changed, and that dharma is the occupational duty of rendering service unto Supreme Lord. Faiths and religions can be changed. Today I may be a Hindu, but tomorrow I may become a Christian or Muslim. In this way, faiths can be changed, but dharma is a natural sequence and natural occupation or connection. Krishna says that as soon as there is discrepancy in discharge of dharma of living entities, when there is an upsurge of unnatural activities,
It descends.
One of the principal purposes of his descent is to re-establish religious principles. The best system of religion is that which best trains us to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. This is the basic principle underlying Bhagavad Gita. We can select our own religion and be Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, or whatever, as long as we know the real purpose of religion. Indeed, Srimad Bhagavatam does not recommend that we give up our present religion, but it does hint at the purpose of religion. That purpose is the love of Godhead, and that religion which teaches us best how to love the Supreme Lord. Best how to love the Supreme Lord is the best religion. In this age, especially, there is a general decay in consciousness of masses of people. A few people remember that there is God, but for most part, people are forgetting him. Therefore, they cannot be happy. People are thinking that God is dead, or that we can have no obligation to God, or that there is no God. This sort of thinking will never make for happiness. When civilization is godless or atheistic, as it is today, God or his representative comes to remind people of their relationship with Supreme Consciousness. When Sanatana Goswami inquired from the Lord Chaitanya, what am I? Why am I always in miserable condition? What is the position of all living entities? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately answered that the real identity is that of a servant of God. We should not understand the word servant in the sense of materialistic servant to become. Can you scroll, Prabhu?
Yeah.
To become a servant of God is a great position. People are always trying to get some government post or some position in a reputed business firm because the service rendered in such position earns great profits. Although we are very anxious to get good positions in the government service, we do not stop to think of getting a position in God's service. God is the government of all governments. God's service is dharma. This dharma may be described differently in different countries according to different cultural and climatic conditions or situations. But in every religious scripture, obedience to God is instructed. No scripture says that there is no God or that we as living entities are independent, not the Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, or even the Buddhist literature. Generally, according to Buddhist philosophy, there is no individual soul and no supreme soul. But actually, since Lord Buddha is accepted by Vedic literatures as an incarnation of God, by obeying Lord Buddha, one is actually following God. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a list of incarnations and Lord Buddha is accepted as one of them. Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by Vyasadeva 5000 years ago and Lord Buddha appeared about 2600 years ago. So Srimad Bhagavatam actually foretold the event of his incarnation. Lord Buddha preached that there is no God and no soul, that this body is a combination of matter and that when we dissolve this material combination, sensations of misery and happiness will no longer exist. Then Shankaracharya appeared to preach that the external feature of Brahman, the body, is merely an illusion. In all religions, temple worship and acceptance of authority are present. We may accept Krishna or Lord Jesus Christ or Jehovah or Lord Buddha or Shankaracharya or Guru Nanak. But in any case, acceptance of authority is required. Hare Krishna.
You complete this one also. The last paragraph, this one. Let me continue.
Yes, Prabhu. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna accepted as the supreme authority. Sometimes Krishna descends personally and sometimes he descends by his incarnations. Sometimes he descends as sound vibration and sometimes he descends as a devotee. There are many different categories of avatars. In this present age, Krishna has descended in his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also confirmed that in this age of Kali, Krishna has descended in the form of sound vibration. Sound is one of the forms which the Lord takes. Therefore, it is stated that there is no difference between Krishna and his name. Hare Krishna.
That is what we have. Abhinnatvam Nama Namina. Krishna and his holy name, no difference. Krishna. Abhinnatvam Nama Namina. There is no difference. Krishna and Krishna's holy name, both are identical. And in this age of Kali, Krishna is descended in the form of sound vibration. Kali Kalena Namarupa, Krishna Avatara. Kali Kalena Namarupa, Krishna Avatara. And there are different religions there. We have to accept the authority. In Prabhupada also many times says, yeah, if you are in a different religion situated, just accept that religion in full of your heart. Accept it and follow it. What in the scripture is describing or teaching. Shankaracharya, and what is that? Christianity, Muslim, Islam, Christianity, Islam. These are all there. Just be situated. If you want to see, every religion talks about to love God, right? Not divide of that. So 2000 years, 2600 years ago, what is that? Lord Buddha appeared 2600 years ago. So they won't believe that, Krishna soul, super soul concept, but still they accept because he is an incarnation of Krishna. According to time and place and circumstances, he appeared, right? So that way, they generally, according to Buddhist philosophy, there is no individual soul and no supreme soul. But actually, since Lord Buddha is accepted by Vedic literature as an incarnation, by obeying Lord Buddha, one is actually following God. Like there are different incarnations he was saying, Krishna, Prabhupada is quoting. That's the thing. But ultimate dharma, in all situations, in all the times, place, and circumstances, Krishna is there. That's it. The devotional life is the topmost thing. That is the Sanatana Dharma. Right? Yeah. There's one point and let us wrap up, okay? When Sanatana Goswami inquired from Lord Chaitanya, what am I? Why am I always in miserable condition? What is the position of all living entities? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately answered that the real identity is that of servant of God. We should not understand that word servant in the sense of materialistic servant. To become a servant of is a great position. People are always trying to get some government post or some position, the reputed businesses. But is what, we have to accept that servant is the greatest position. That's what, see. Problem with, why I am suffering, why I am miserable condition, what am I? Because, we treat ourselves as a master and we treat ourselves as a controller. We treat ourselves as a proprietor. That is a problem. How can we get the happiness? We never ever, right? And dharma, what is the dharma? Dharma of here quickly, 2 points and wrap up, okay? What is dharma of sugar? Sugar's dharma is sweetness. And what is the dharma of water? Liquidity. And what is the dharma of fire? Heat and light. And it cannot be separated. Can we think? Sugar from sweetness, can we able to take out sweetness of sugar? Can we able to take out liquidity of water? Can we able to take out of heat and light from the fire? No. And if there is no question of that is where inseparable. There is a particular word significant, inseparable. Right? Fire is having heat and light. When lit up fire, heat and light will come. When we taste the water, what is it? What is the dharma, that is qualities of water, is liquidity. What is the sugar? Sweetness. If you think that way, that's why we are all eternal beings, inseparable from Krishna actually. Inseparable from Krishna, but we are separated from Krishna. That's where we are in the material world. Actually, this material world is two things. Two things we have to understand. Forgetfulness. Either we forgetfulness of Krishna, that is the thing, or we are in, that's where we are in forgetfulness of Krishna. That's where we are in material world. So if we forgetful about Krishna, forget, if we develop the, remembering Krishna always, so there is no question of material world and spiritual world. It is a high statement actually from the Prabhupada purpose and teachings. Make this material life also just like just treat right, material love. Of course, dukkha ashasvatam, these things are there. But still, if we engage always, there is no question of material world and spiritual world. Isn't it? There is no question of material world and spiritual world. Because when we always think about Krishna, always rendering services to Krishna, that the situation becomes spiritual, the environment becomes spiritual, the place, the time, the circumstance becomes spiritual. That is going to be spiritual world. That's it. Oh, until I go back home, then only I will start. No, how will we go back home, back to Garden? That is there, of course. But we can experience spiritual world in this, while we are situated in material world also. One beautiful verse, then we'll wrap up. I wanted to share this one. Yesterday we read in our Bhagavatam, in one of the Qatar call here. I ended up with this verse. See, that is what forgetfulness is the main thing, Prabhuji. Shapan Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji. Why we are in this material world? Because of forgetfulness of Krishna. That's where, why Prabhupada coming up that point. Always remember Krishna and never forgets him. Always remember Krishna and never forgets him. That's the thing. Because of forgetfulness, we are suffering. We have to regain our consciousness to remember Krishna always. We have to regain our consciousness. Always remember Krishna. How can we regain our consciousness? What is the process? Bhakti Yoga process is the addressing to regain our consciousness. Please repeat after me, both of you, Sapan Prabhu and Mataji. Smartavyam satatam Vishnor.
Smartavya satatam Vishnur.
Vismartavya najatu chid. Sapan Prabhu.
Vismartavyo na jatu chit.
I'm at work, Prabhuji. You can carry on.
Sarve vidhi nishedasyur.
Sarve vidhi nishedasyur.
Etayor eva kinkara.
Etayoreva kinkara.
Let me do once, Mataji, all the 4 lines, then you can also do. Smartavya satatam Vishnor vismartavyo na jatu chit sarve vidhi nishedasyur etayor eva kinkara.
Shall I do, Prabhuji?
Please do it, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Smartavya satatam Vishnor vismartavyo na jatu chit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayoreva kinkara.
Read the translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be servants of these 2 principles.
What are these 2 principles, Mataji? 2 principles. Always remember Krishna and never forget. Martavyam satatam Vishnu. Vismartavyam na jatu chit. That's it. Always remember Krishna, never forget. That's where we have to mold our life such a way that always remember Krishna, never forgets. And this is from Padma Purana. This verse is a quotation from Padma Purana. This is said by Krishnadas Kaviraja Goswami in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 22 chapter 113. There are references. This is the thing. We always say that, right? This is a verse. Okay. So let us wrap up. Thank you so much. for attending and reading Srila Prabhupada books. We are with Krishna. There is no difference actually. Krishna's teachings only is giving. Prabhupada is nicely writing these purports, realizations, and connected points, connected verses to understand the concept. Thank you so much. Okay. So let us connect on Monday evening, and you all have a happy Krishna conscious weekend. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Reading ki jai. Nitai Gaura Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Samyukta Mataji, Sapan Prabhu, Vendala Mataji, Sirisha Mataji, our regular Raju Prabhu, all the wonderful devotees. Thank you so much. Okay, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Stay
Pranam.
happy and stay blessed in Krishna consciousness. Susukam Kartam Avyayam. Okay, thank you so much.